Alright, sorry about that hiccup at first, y'all, but welcome to the Gamer Show. I'm your host, Fred Y. Before I start, man, y'all don't forget to go past KastAway. Links are in the description below where you can find some home treasures. Also, don't forget to go check out Split City Apparel, where y'all can go get you some 420 items. And also, don't forget about It's Over Prime coming to the Gamer Show real soon, where we unbox Transformers. And we let you know if they worth buying that. So if you want to visit your youth back in the 80s, if you grew up in that era, you can. So we got a couple of Transformers in here already, but I'm just waiting on one more before I start the series. So today's episode is about OBS and training on OBS. Now, what is OBS? OBS is a software. It's free to download, and what you can do is you can use this actually to stream out to the internet. So you simply want to go to obs.com and then download this software. Open Broadcaster software. So I'm on my laptop, and we're going to do this all from the laptop. So what you're simply going to do is just type or do a search for OBS. And when OBS pops up, this is the software that you want to download. Alright, so as you can see, this software you can download for Windows, you can download for Mac, and you can also download for Linux. And this is what the software will look like. Now, I already have this pre-installed, so there's no need for me to download it. And if you are watching the video, just pause it and then continue, because I'm gonna try to stay on focus with this series. Now, most of you have PCs, and the PC minimum requirement is Windows 8.1, which I doubt anybody uses anymore. Windows 10 or Windows 11. So if you just recently got a PC, then you probably would have Windows 11. That's the latest operating system that's out right now. If you have a Mac, if you have the newer style Mac with the M1 processor on it, then go ahead and knock yourself out. But I wouldn't recommend you to stream on a Mac. I've had nothing but bad luck with Macs. And then Linux, I really don't know anything about Linux. I haven't really worked with Linux at all. So I don't know anything about that program. But let's go with the Windows. I didn't want to download it. So when you click on it, it automatically downloads. And I'm seeing if they have some specs here. Hey, how you doing? Okay. And the reason why I do these videos, man, is because these big names on YouTube, they don't want to take the time out to let people know how to do this stuff. But with if you're downloading this on Windows, you would want to have a processor higher or equivalent to an i5 or i7. I don't know AMD, so I'm really not sure of that. So you need at least that. You need at least, I guess, somewhat over 512 or 500 gig hard drive. And if you're going to do this streaming, right, do it on the PC that you don't do anything else on. Just make your PC strictly a streaming PC. You could do it on the laptop or you could do it on a PC. But make sure that whatever device that you're using is just strictly for streaming, because you're going to run into a lot of problems where if you stream and you play video games or you do other stuff on it, it's going to boggle your system down. Now, me personally, on this laptop, I'm running Windows 11. On the computer that I'm using to stream out to the internet, it's still Windows 10. And I still got heavy updates and all that other stuff, but it works fine. Okay, so once you've downloaded that, only thing you have to do is click on the operating system that you have. So after that's done, we're just going to go ahead and close out of this, and we're going to go ahead and open it up. Now, you have you have three different versions. You have OBS Studio, you have OBS 64-bit, and you have OBS 32-bit. Now, I don't know what operating system that you have, but if you go to your computer and you go to your settings or about your computer, you would know if your operating system is running on the 64-bit configuration or 32-bit configuration. If it's running on the 64, you're fine with downloading the 64-bit operating system. If it's running on the 32, you're better off downloading the 32-bit operating system. If you put the 64-bit operating system on it, well, it's just not going to, it may work, but it's not going to work as efficiently as you would like it to. But if you have a 64-bit operating system, you can run either the 64 or the 32-bit or OBS. Now, I'm going to just go ahead and update this real quick. And that's a good thing about OBS. OBS is free and they constantly doing upgrades. Okay, so OBS is OBS is essentially like you having a big brand studio. Like if you owned ABC or Fox or NBC. This program does all of what you need done. You can run a whole fledged full of studio in your home, your sound stage, your church, whatever. This is a very, very powerful software, and it's like ATEM switcher all in one. I mean, it does everything. And if you don't know what ATEM switcher is, just look it up, guys, because I'm trying to stay focused on one particular item on here, because people that watch the show know how I get the cat on the string effect. All right, so once you open up OBS, it's going to look like this. So let me do a new one, new profile, because I'm not using that one anymore. Okay, so when you first boot this thing up, you're going to have this pop up on you, right? It's going to it's the auto configure wizard. Now what this does is this tests your internet connection, and it gives you the best of everything: the best streaming quality, the best frame per second quality, the best canvas quality, all of that. It's going to give you all of that. So what you want to do is you're just going to want to go ahead and run that, right? But I wouldn't recommend, you can do it wirelessly, but I don't recommend doing it wirelessly. You always want to do it hardwired. So you always want to stream hardwired. You can make yourself an Ethernet cable. You can buy Ethernet cable off of Amazon that will reach your router in your home, but you never want to do streaming wireless at all. Now, I'm wireless on this laptop because I don't have it plugged up to my network. So I'm going to just go ahead and I got updates too. Yeah, I'm wireless on this for right now. So what you're going to do is you're just going to go ahead and press next. It's going to give you the base canvas side, which is 19 by 20. And then it's going to ask you if you want to go 30 or 60 frames per second. You don't want to go 60 frames per second. You don't. A lot of people make the mistake of doing that. You always want to go 30 frames per second. And preferably, you want to go 720. Now, you can go down here and select your canvas size, right? Now we have 1080p, and the reason why I say it's another display because I have this going out to a caption card on my streaming PC. It's going to ask you if you want to do 1080 or you want to do 7. My recommendation to you is to do 720, okay? But for me, I'm capable of doing 1080 at 30 frames per second. And I can do 60 frames, but I don't want to do 60 frames because what happens is if people are watching this on like older cell phones, it's going to be real choppy and it's going to lag a lot, right? And then they're just going to get uninterested and they're going to just move away from your stream. So you don't want that. So you always want to stream at 720 at 30 frames per second. But if your internet is capable of doing 1080p, then do it. But I would recommend you not to, even if your computer is able to do 1080p. Keep it to 720p and 30 frames per second. So we're going to go next. Now this gives you the option of what service provider that you want to stream on. Now, right now it's recommending me to do Twitch. Okay, so right now I am multi-streaming on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. I used to be on Twitter, but for some reason I got banned. Okay, so when you select a streaming application, me personally, I use Restream. That's how I'm able to stream simultaneously on 3 different platforms. But you would use Restream.io. Okay, Restream.io. If you go to their website, you can enter in all your social media networks, and then when you go live using the stream key that Restream.io gives you, and you put inside OBS, it uses that stream key and that server to stream out to all 3 of your platforms. Like I said, I'm streaming to 3 platforms right now: Twitch TV, YouTube, and Facebook. But when you do that, it's going to ask you to put your stream key in. So this is what you do. Now, obviously, I'm not going to show my stream key. You want to keep that under wraps. What you want to do is you want to go to the network of your choosing, and find your network key. Okay, so it's going to ask you for your server and your network key. But what I would recommend to all you streamers, because you want a wider audience, if you just started, some applications or some networks won't let you stream. I believe YouTube is one of them. You have to get your subscriptions up in order to stream on that. Twitch TV, you can stream on that and with no subscribers. So what I want to do is I want to go to Restream.io. So once you log in here, okay, once you log in here, you'll be presented with this screen, right? So you can also use this application to stream as well, but this is more of like a 1 camera setup. This, you won't have the capability to switch between different cameras and different scenes and things like that. You will go here, right? Okay, so you got start with studio. That's a studio with inside Restream. You have stream a video file, which is very much self-explanatory. You can record only, meaning you can do your post-productions, save it, edit it, and then post it later. Schedule an event. That's again self-explanatory. If you have a big New Year's Eve event coming up, you can say, okay, I'm gonna schedule it for whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or you have a wedding or whatever. You can schedule it for that. But the main one that we're looking at is set up for OBS, Zoom, etc. All right. So you can use Zoom and OBS, these major platforms, these streaming services, to stream out to the internet. Okay. So, and OBS, unlike Zoom, doesn't give you a time limit on how long you can stream. You can stream for 6 hours if you would like, and your stream will still be going on. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and hit that, right? So, what happens is, of course I'm live right now, so it's showing you when you go live. It's showing you that what your audience is seeing, and you see right here, I have Twitch, I have YouTube, I have LinkedIn, I have Steam OS, and I also have Facebook. So these are the 3 platforms that I'm streaming on currently right now. You see I don't have LinkedIn turned on, and I don't have Steam OS turned on. And what you want to do is, if you want to monitor all your chats. Now, for some reason, you can't monitor Facebook chats. So what I do is I go to Facebook and I click on that stream and I put it in the box over on my other monitor. Now, if y'all remember when I streamed the other day, I said when you do stream, it's important to have you a couple of monitors because you want to be able to see what you're doing and you want to be able to engage with your audience. You don't want all of that on one screen, especially if you're going to show your screen. You don't want that. So you would go to chats and see right here, this is my chats, right? But what you can also download Restream Chat, and you can just have it as a single application. So if I type test, put in enter, now it streamed out to Twitch, YouTube, everything except for Facebook, and I don't know why that is. So so we're looking for the stream key. All right. And your stream key. Now this is a new version of OBS, but you're going to have to look for that stream key. Oh, and it shows it at the bottom as well. And you can add new destinations on Restream. You just hit that and you can add destinations. You go add destination. And see, you have all of this other stuff like Twitter, and that's Periscope, Daily Motion, YouTube. A lot of these networks I haven't heard from, but you can stream to all of these networks. And you could do a custom URL, meaning like something like you see like TikTok isn't on here, and you see that what's the other one that the kids use? Instagram. You see Instagram isn't on here. Well, Instagram, if you search, you can find out how you can find out your stream key. It's called a stream key. Stream key. I forgot where it is on here. It's in the settings somewhere. So I'll do another video on this. But oh. Okay. So there it is. All right. So when you go to Restream, that I will recommend you to go, you would hit RTMP settings, and that's where you find your stream key. Now I can show you this because it's not. I mean, I don't care if you don't see the whole URL anyway. So the server, the RTMP URL, This is what you want to copy, and then you're going to paste that into where I'm going to show y'all at. Your stream key, okay? You never share this with anybody. This is because if anybody had this information, they can take this and they can go live and use your information, and you would never know unless somebody start calling you and telling you like, well, why are you streaming this and that and not this other stuff? So this is where you find your stream key information. This is your stream key, right? This is definitely your stream key. All right. Now I could have copied and pasted this in that connection, that new connection I did, but I didn't. But you would copy this, because if I click on this, y'all gonna see my stream key, so I'm not gonna do it. So you would copy this and you're gonna put it into where I'm gonna show you at. So restream, go to that first. This is also free, just the low version of it. There is a paid version that gives you more options, but you honestly wouldn't need that. So go to Restream.io, get your stream key, and get that information. What you're going to do is you're going to keep this open, because you're going to have to copy and paste that into where I'm going to show you at, right? So let's just minimize this. And we're just going to cancel out of here. But you're going to follow all these steps. When you go to auto configuration, you want to click this drop down box and you want to go to Restream. Now, if you don't want to use Restream, you don't want to stream on multiple platforms, still do it. Still go through Restream and get that account. Get yourself that account. And then you're going to hit Restream, and then it's going to say use stream key. You're going to click on that, and then you're going to put your stream key in there, right? It's already going to do the server for you and all that other stuff, but this is where you place that stream key at. But we're going to cancel all of that. Now, and this lower third application that I put on here isn't working. I guess I need to update it. Profile, dog scene selection. We're going to go with new. Okay. So when you open up OBS, this is what you're going to be presented with. It's going to look like this. Now, this may look a little confusing, but it's not really. It's really, really easy. Let's start off with some of the buttons that you can see. You see streaming, which when you hit streaming, this is on your right side. When you hit streaming, you're streaming. When you hit recording, you're recording. Start virtual camera. I don't get into that. So if you want to find out what that is, then you could go on your own for that one. Studio mode. Well, when you hit studio mode, this is what you'll have, right? So you'll have two different scenes. And this is like using the temp switcher. You'll have your preview and your program. And we'll get back into that. So say if you have two different scenes, and I'll explain to y'all what scenes are. You have one scene that says, welcome to the show, or the show is about to start. And then you have your second scene where the show is starting. You see your camera and all that other stuff. Then you could use this mode and you can look at your preview screen to make sure that nothing is wrong. Everything is coming through. Everything looks good. And then you hit that scene and it'll go automatically the program, and that's what you're programming out to the world. That's what everybody is seeing. So what an temp switcher is, a temp switcher allows you to hook up multiple either BNC connections or HDMI connections like cameras, and it allows you to switch between camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. You know how the studios do it. So like say if you're watching the Cosby Show or Friends or something like that, and they switching scenes back and forth, they're using some type of switcher for that, and that's what this is. So studio mode will allow you to do that. Settings. Now this is the This is the meat and potatoes, right? You want to go into settings. You don't really want to mess with nothing in here, because when the auto configuration configures this stuff for you, then you don't need to touch anything. But none of the stuff that you need to touch in general: output, source, projects, system tray. I don't mess with any of this stuff. I don't mess with any of this stuff. But you can go down and you can look at it, but don't touch it. You know what I'm saying? I don't use any of this stuff, therefore I don't know anything about it, because I don't play around with these settings. Okay, I just keep them the way that they are. Now, if you want to do a different language, of course you will come up here and hit this drop down arrow, and you have a multitude of different languages, right? So for some reason, if your all your stuff is in Chinese or Arabic or whatever, if you go into settings, settings is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the fifth button down. You can just hit settings, and your first one is languages. So then you drop down and select the language that you like. Now, theme, you could either go with dark mode, or it's these other different modes that you could choose, but just keep it dark mode or whatever. It really doesn't matter. This doesn't change anything inside OBS, but just keep it dark mode, so you don't want to touch that, right? So bam, you got that. Next, you're going to go to streaming. Now, remember how I said before at the beginning of this, where you choose what network you want to stream out on? This is the same thing again. You hit the drop down box. You could go to custom, meaning you can put your own URL and your stream key in there, or you could do the simplistic stuff. Like, if you do it this way, if you do the restream way, then you don't have to search the internet and try to find your stream key. Because if you do restream, the only thing restream is going to ask you is to log into your networks. Therefore, you don't need to put in all your stream keys for all the different social media outlets that you want to do. Now, if you're a person that still got a MySpace page and you want to stream out on MySpace, you can also do that too. But you see, when we went into restream, MySpace wasn't one of the ones that was allowed or supported. But if you do a custom one, then it supports it. You know what I'm saying? So just do restream, guys. Just do restream. And then put in your stream key. It's going to say connect account recommended. And then it's going to say use stream key. So when you click on stream key, it's going to say, it's going to ask you what server that you want. And just keep it at auto detect, because it's going to do it for you. You paste your stream key in here, and bam, you're good. Now you can stream out to the internet. Okay? So that's what all of that's about. Now, output. Now, this could get real tricky. Output mode. You want to keep that simple. Until you start learning this software, don't change anything in these settings that I'm telling you to. Okay? Video bit rate. Now, the way that you can find your video bit rate is you can test your internet speed. Now, if you're using Verizon or Cox or Xfinity, whatever, there's an app that you can go into and you can check the speed of your internet. When you check the speed of your internet, you want to put that number in here, right? So I don't want to do that because it's probably going to show some of my information that I don't want to be viewed out to the internet. Okay. But if you do that custom thing that was happening at the beginning, all this stuff will be filled out for you, right? But if you didn't, like I did, then you're going to have to go in here and change some of these settings. So the encoder, you want to just keep that at 264, right? Audio bit rate. Now, the audio bit rate could be tricky too, because if you don't set the audio right, what happens is that the audio gets out of sync. So as soon as you start talking, it'll have like a millisecond delay, and that will be noticeable, right? So if y'all go to the Facebook channel when I post stuff on Facebook, especially when I'm using a little cheap phone that I have, you'll see that the audio is lagging behind, like 2 seconds behind, and that's because the phone is just cheap. You know, somebody stole my iPhone while I was out on the road, and I had to go get another one. But that's what it is, right? So you'll have to play around with that. If you just launch this thing and leave it alone, and you do that auto configurations, you don't have to do anything. But if you find that your audio is lagging behind, this is one of the settings that you want to play with. And what you can do is, before you start going live, what you can do is you can record yourself first and then play it back to see if the video lags or not. And then you just start playing with the bit rate, and then you'll be good. Okay. So we go down, that's streaming. And enable advanced encoder settings. Just keep that blank. You don't really need to mess with it. All right. So the recording path, or recording, we're going down to recording. Recording path is self-explanatory. You want these videos that you record, if you do that, you want them to go to a certain destination. But for all general purposes, it's going to have a default for you. But if you want to set it up in like an external hard drive, well, you just go hit browse, and you go to the place where you want your stuff to go. So if I had an external hard drive here, I would just click on that and hit select, and that's where all my files will go. All right. Now, record quality. So I have it set as same as stream, but if you go down here, you can have different options. You can have high quality. I would just say save as stream. Just keep it save as stream. You don't want to do anything. Just keep it save as stream. Now, the format type is MKV. And then you have a couple of different options. You have FLV. You have MP4, which let me set that to MP4. Because I use Macs to record, to edit. You have MP4, which you can do on the Mac. You have movie, which you can also do on the Mac. That's Mac's default encoder. MKV, TS, which I don't know about, and then M3U8. I don't know what that is. But if you're doing this on Windows, you want to keep it like MP4 or FLV. FLV, you're going to have to download an app in order to play those files back. But if you're, say like you're a person like me, like you only stream on PCs but you edit on Macs, where you want to keep it MP4 or MOV. If you're using Windows to edit your stuff, you want to keep this on MP4. All right, so keep it as MP4. Matter of fact, change it to MP4, because you can use this file to edit on the PC and on the Mac. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. So let's go back into settings. Now let's go to audio. Now, audio sample rate in general. 48 megahertz. Don't change it. Just keep it 48 megahertz. Channels, you want stereo. Now, stereo is a left and right speaker. If you want it mono, it's only one speaker, but I don't know why you would want it mono. Okay. Global device, global audio device. Desktop audio. Now, if you're showing something on YouTube, well, you have to enable desktop audio. so it can capture that audio from your desktop, right? And all of this stuff is pretty much self-explanatory. If you have a mic, auxiliary mic, you have an external mic. Now what I use is I use a Yeti mic, and if the Yeti mic was plugged up into this, only thing you have to do is just hit that drop down arrow, and you would enable it. And see, this tells you what you have hooked up to it. Now, right now, I have the Elgato capture, the microphone, and I have the headphone, and plus I have the line in jack of the PC. So, you will want to set these up. Okay, meters and peak meters. Now, when your audio peaks, you want to try to keep your audio in the yellow, right? If it starts to peak and it hits that red mark, that means that your audio is getting distorted, and we'll look at that once we go back into OBS, right? And then advanced, disable Windows audio docking. Just leave it as it is, so you don't really have to touch none of this stuff. We'll go to video. Now, this is where you can set your canvas size. Now, remember, guys, I said you want to keep it at 720p, right? And that's exactly what I said, right? So my canvas size, which I see on OBS, is 1080 or 1920 by 1080, right? What y'all are seeing right now is 1280 by 720. That's 720p. You want to keep that like this. So the base is what you see. The output, hold on, I don't know why it crashed. Oh, see, my lower thirds just came in. So the output, what you're seeing right now, is 720p. So you want to keep that, because what I'm telling you, if you try to stream at 1080p, you're going to find yourself losing a lot of subscribers, because people are going to come to your stream and their phone that may be able to handle that. Not everybody got the latest iPhone, and not everybody has the latest tablet, or Android. You know, some people are still to this day dealing with these old crappy cell phones. Like my personal phone is an old crappy joint, man. You know what I'm saying? And even when I'm on Wi-Fi connection, it's still crappy. But I'm able to see some video and it buffers a lot, right? That's because some videos that I look at are in 1080p. Now, if you're looking at stuff on YouTube, YouTube or Twitch or Facebook, I think that it has a software in there where it caters to what you're able to view. So some of you all may not be seeing me in 720p. Some of you all may be looking at me at like 420 or 360, and that's a real low resolution, but you're able to see me. But with this, you want to just stay, you want your base to be 1080p, or 1920 by 1080, and you want your output to be 1280 by 720. Keep it like that, okay? And then you want the downscale feature. Just keep it like it is. And then the frames per second. Now, you can do 30 frames per second, or you could do 60 frames per second, or you could do any one of these, right? 10 frames per second is going to look like crap, okay? 29 frames per second is usually like a music video, right? So if you're using this as a recording device, you can record a music video in 29, right? It's not really a big difference between 29 and 30. It's just that we videographers, when we shoot music videos, we use 29. But I don't see the big difference. and then you have your 48, and then you have your PAL 50, and then you have your 59.94. And you see up here, if we go back to 24 frames, NTSC and PAL. PAL is overseas. NTSC is the states. So that's something that you might want to know later on down the line. But see, if we go all the way down, we got 60 frames per second. Like I said, don't do 60 frames per second. Even if you blow up and you become like a Lamar Wilson or Boogie 928 and you stream at 60 frames per second. Not everybody has a 4K TV in their home. Not everybody has the latest cell phone. So they're going to be lagging behind. It seems like even me with some of my stuff, when people be watching the game show videos, it'll stop and it start buffering. That's because their phone can't handle all that information coming to it at once. So we just gonna keep it at 30 frames per second, right? So remember, everybody, your canvas base 1920 by 1080, and your output scale is going to be 1280 by 720, and you want it to be 30 frames per second. Now you can go higher than that, but I'm telling you, you're going to have some problems with that. Okay, so now we go down to hotkeys. All right, now if you don't know what a hotkey is, it's a shortcut. So a lot of people use this and it's very beneficial. And once you start adding scenes and things like that, they'll pop up here. So if I add a scene called intro, you'll see something that says intro. You'll see something that says intro up here. Matter of fact, let me go create a scene real quick. And I'll go down here. I'll go hit the plus. And I'll just name it test. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that's my scene. Then let me hit another one where I say test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I have two scenes, right? And let me just drop like a photo in here real quick. So go here, go to the internet. And if you're looking like for I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, but I'm doing this for a reason so I can show y'all what the hotkeys are doing. So if you want to set a scene, say like if you're me and you're doing a PlayStation review, right? And you want a backdrop for that. Well, let's type in PlayStation. PlayStation. PlayStation 5 wallpaper. And I use Google to do my searches. But you can also tell Google to look for the dimension of the wallpaper that you're looking for. So let me put 1080p or 1080. Okay, and I'm gonna click images. Now, some of you all can just drop and drag this, but I find out sometimes that this does not work. So when you put your thumbnail over the picture, you see down here it says 2062 by 1182. That means that this is way beyond what we need, but it's usable. So I'm gonna click on this, and let me just make a new folder. I'm gonna click on this and drag it over. And make sure whatever file that you're going to use for your backdrops or for anything, make sure it says JPG. That's a JPEG. So what I'm going to come back in here and do, I'm going to search for Xbox wallpaper. Find the one that you like. Again, this is 19 something by 1000. So I'm going to drag this one and put it over here. Okay. And this is one of the common mistakes that's made. You see this extension that says WEDP? Well, that's not a file that you can use. Go ahead and delete that. We got to find one that is a JPEG. Okay. Now, it says JPEG. All right, so we're done with this. So now we're going to go back over to OBS. Okay, we're going to do test 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put one of these in there. So let's start off with the PlayStation. Just drop and drag it. And remember how I said that the timeline was a 1080p timeline? Well, this is overkill, right? So what you want to do is you want to minimize this picture. And see how if you minimize it, because it was all over the place, you can stretch it out without it being distorted. And see how it has a little lip down here? What you want to do is hold shift, take it, and it's going to snap into place. So now I have my first scene with a picture of a PlayStation 5 in it. Now I go to my second scene. And I'm going to put this, I think this is the Xbox one. And see again how it's huge. It is real huge, right? That's because it's bigger than what the canvas is asking for. So what you want to do is just click and drag it, take it from here or take it from anywhere. So I got to double click on my mouse and you can just trim it down. And I like that. I'm going to use that in one of the shows. So how I'm doing this is that I'm doing this on the laptop. So what I'm doing is I'm double clicking, or you can left click on the mouse and you could expand it or make it fit. You know what I'm saying? If you hold down shift while you have your left clicker, you're going to distort the image. That's good for like if you have a clip in here that's too small and you try to stretch it out and it just won't fit. The aspect ratio will not fit. You have to hold down the left mouse click button and shift, and then you can make it fit. But that's what it is. All right. So now that I have these pictures in here, I'm gonna just go ahead and lock these real quick. And if you lock it, then you won't be able to do any stupid stuff like delete it or distort it or whatever. Now, we're going to go back in the settings. And remember, I just created these 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we go back into the settings where we were before in the hotkeys. Now the hotkey, let me get back to that. That allows you to make a keystroke on your keyboard to go to that specific file or that scene that you want to go to. So if I want to switch between scene 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, say if I want 1, 2, 3, 4 to be key 1 on my desktop. So every time I press key 1, no matter what scene I'm in, it's going to flip automatically back to 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if I set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if I set key 2 as my shortcut or my hotkey, it's going to go to that. So let's find what we just created or what I just created. Okay. So you see this? Now this is giving you all the information. It says switch to scene, and if I click on here, press the number 1 and apply. Now, if I go down here to scene 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I click on switch to, I press the number 2 and press apply. Now, let's go back to the main body of OBS and see what happens. Now I'm gonna repeatedly press 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and let's see what happens. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now you see how I'm just switching scenes? Instead of you going in here, like, instead of you going in here doing this, what happens is you can just switch the scenes with like a keystroke, or you could, go to Elgato and get one of those stream decks and set that, of course. So that's another video. But I'm hitting 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and you see how it's fading from one screen to the next. That's because we haven't gone over this yet. But scene transitions, you can set this up, and we'll go over there. I don't want to jump the gun, but that's basically what it is, and that's your scene. So everything in your scene, you can put like JPEGs or lower thirds or whatever, and then within the scene, if you want to put like the title or whatever, or the name of the game, or the name of whoever, you would add that in here as well. And if you wanted to put it on the hotkey, you would just go back like we did before. Go to your hotkeys. You find the scene that you create, or you find whatever that you created, and then you put your shortcut stroke in there. So that's what the hotkeys are. So if you go to advanced, you don't want to do anything with this. Stay out of that. There's no need for you to go in there. Leave it alone. Do not mess with anything in advance. All right. So get out of that. Now we're back into the body of OBS. Okay. So let's go up to the top. We got file, edit, view, docs, profile, scene selections, tools, and help. Let's go with the files first. Now you have show recordings, remux recordings, settings, setting folders, show setting folders, show profile folders, always on top, and exit. Okay, so these aren't really important, so I'm not really going to go through them, but you can play with them if you like. Then we go to edits, undo, transform source. You got redo, you got copy, you got paste, duplicate, you got copy filter, paste filter, transform, order, preview scaling, lock preview, and advanced audio properties. This stuff is much done with when you're dealing with your scenes, and a lot of this stuff is kind of self-explanatory, and you would just have to play around with it in order to understand it a little bit better. Okay. View. So we got full screen, which I have full screen right here. Then you have these check marks that you want to do. You want to do the scene. You want to do source and source icons, status bar. You want to make sure that all of these are checked. Status. Then you go to multi-view, and then windowed or full screen. Now multi-view is what a ATEM switcher is. And let's click on multi-view real quick. Now, you see this? This is exactly what a ATEM switcher will look like. So if you have all your connections here, you'll see everything that, at least up to what, 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll have 4 different scenes that you can see. And this will tell you everything that's hooked up. So you can have a different window, and you can take this window. I mean, you can have a different screen or monitor, and you can drag this to a different monitor, and there you'll see everything that you have hooked up to it. So like I told y'all, this is like having a full-fledged production real studio. I wasn't kidding about this, because if you ever go to a full-fledged real studio, you'll see people using ATEM switches or just switches, camera switches, and you'll see a lot of these around because you can see all the videos at once. You can monitor everything that's going on, so you know that you're picking either the right clip or the right camera or whatever. So that's what Multiview is. So exit out of that. Docs. I don't really mess with this too much. If you're confused on this or you want to know more about this, I think it would probably be... No, I already covered docs. Yeah, docs is up here. So I'm going to jump all the way down to lower thirds, right? So I don't know if y'all know what a lower third is, but I'll try to explain it. Let me just move this canvas over a little bit. A lower third is, and let me get these names out of here too. A lower third is a description of maybe the talent that's on screen. Okay, so this could be their name, and this could be the information that they want displayed, right? Let me go up here. Okay, and how I had it set up. It's not showing up. Well, for some reason it's not working, but it will pop up right here, or right here, or wherever you set it at. All right. So profile. Now even I get confused on this. We have new, duplicate, rename, remove, import, export, live. Okay. So these are the different type of settings that you can have. So say if you are the production guy and you have maybe, studio or whatever, and you're dealing with 3 different clients, right? Say you're dealing with a cooking show, then you're dealing with a gaming show, then you're dealing with something else. Well, the profile will let you go to the different settings. Now I can create all this stuff in here, and I can go to my live stream setting, and I won't lose anything. So say I have the client that's coming to do, and I call their show live streaming. What you do is you just switch back and forth. So profile, live streaming. So everything that you have set to like lower thirds or pictures and other stuff like that, that's the profile that you'll be working off of. And see, I get confused on this because I thought it was going to switch to the other side, but it didn't. So this one even confused me a little bit. So profile is your settings, right? So if this is probably like the recording settings. So if you have, say, like the live settings, live stream settings, and you have that like a different canvas type, or you have that at a different streaming setting, then that's what you would do. So right now, even if I go to a different scene and I want the same configurations, not the pictures and stuff like that, I misspoke. If I wanted the different configurations, I could still use these. So if I had test as streaming on Facebook, and I didn't want to stream on Facebook, I just wanted to stream on YouTube, then I would just go to the live profile, because I'll have all my camera settings and everything, the frames per rate, and then that's how you do. Now, let's do this real quick because I'm not working with this cat no more. Let's go to scene selections. So you see I'm on, I got this, I got test, and I got the gamer show. Well, I'm not working with these cats anymore. So let's go to this. I'm not even saying their name no more. And see, I have all these settings right here. I got all this stuff going on right here. That's what their settings were. You know what I mean? So I'm not even going to give them the advertisement. So these are all the settings and all the stuff that I have for them. So if you no longer want that stuff, what you could do is you could go in here. You can in scene selections, you can do a new one. You can duplicate what you have. You can rename it. You can remove it. You can import it or export it. This means if you have, say, if, like when I go out of town, I take my laptop and I want to do the gaming show, say in Florida or wherever I go. Well, what I do is I'll export this file to a thumb drive, and then I would take it over to my this laptop, and all those settings, all that stuff that I have on there would transfer over to the laptop, so I don't have to keep recreating it. Because right now I don't have the gamer show on my laptop, so if I go out of town and I even try to do a stream, it's not going to look the same because I don't have it set up the way that I have it on the computer, and that's going to be very tedious for me to do. So what I can do is I can export all of those files to a thumb drive, and then I can import all those files into the laptop that I'm using. So since we're not using this cat anymore, we're not dealing with him anymore, we're going to just go ahead and remove it. So you want to check the one that you want to remove, and I'm going to remove that one. Are you sure you want to move them? Hell yeah. So now you see it jump back to test, and that's what we're working on today. So now I don't have anything to do with those cats that I was dealing with before. So now I have the gamer show and I have test, right? So let's say if I go to the gamer show. So you see how I have some stuff. I don't have everything, but I have some stuff. Not everything, but that's the game show things. So let's go back to test. All right. So that's it. Scene selection. So you can create one. You can create different scenes. Now, when I was working with clients, if I so say for instance I was doing Spliff City, or if I was doing KastAway, or if I was doing something whatever, or Steph Chef's cooking show, right? So I would just need to go on that scene selection, then hook all my gear up to it, and I'll be straight. I don't have to redo every scene every time, because every scene will be done on your either laptop or your desktop or your Mac or whichever product that you're using, so you don't have to worry about doing all of that, right? All right, so now that we have we got that out the way, hopefully y'all understood what I said. But the scene selection is basically the program that you're going to be displaying out to YouTube. Like if I was using a laptop and I wanted to switch to the game show versus somebody else, then I would do that. All right, so let's go to tools. Um, this is the auto configuration wizard. Um, so it's just self-explanatory. If you went on ahead and you skipped it at the beginning, you can always come back to it and configure your computer to meet the internet speed that you're using. So you would want to do this every time. So say if you go to a client's house and you're streaming live from their house, where their internet connection may be a little bit different from yours. So you want to do the auto configurations every single different time. Now, if say like if I was going over to shoot something for Michelle and I went to her house and used her internet, I would only have to configure this once because that would be all saved. So then when I go back to my house and I do the game show, if I was using my laptop, then it would be saved. I wouldn't have to do an auto configuration because it's saved under that profile, right? So you have deck link captions. You have under tools after auto configurations. I don't use any of this stuff, so I don't know anything about it. An Elgato remote control for OBS. I don't know what that is because I don't use it. And then, so sorry, I can't give you that much help from their scripts. You have to figure that stuff out yourself. Again, I don't know too much about it because I don't use it. Like I say, man, this is very powerful software and it does a lot. So I'm just teaching you what I know personally. Okay, so help is basically what help is. Help portal, visit website. You can go to the website and see if there are any more information that you need. Join Discord server. People know what that is. I don't use Discord. Log files, crash reports. So this will tell you why your maybe your OBS crashed, and you might want to send that report to the good people over there at OBS. Check updates. You want to this no now this does it automatically for you, so you don't have to worry about that too much. But if you've gone a period of time like a month or two without an update coming up, then more than likely OBS has done an update because they update their software very frequently. So you can click on check updates and see. Now, if y'all watched the program when I began, you could see that it did give me an update and I was able to download it and install it. And then you go back to help. The last one is about. Now, this tells you everything about the OBS program that you're using. Remember when I said that there's a difference between 64-bit and 32-bit? Well, it knew that my computer is a 64-bit, has a 64-bit operating system, which is Windows 11, and it downloaded that particular version for me. So this is all the information that's in there that you need. A lot of mumbo jumbo. This is just some of the people that are behind OBS pretty much. And it's just telling you what it does. Okay, it says OBS Studio is a free and open source video recording and live streaming software. So what it says a live open source is you can create scripts for that if you know how to do that, and it's open to the public and you can upload it for other people to share. Okay. All right. So. All right. So let's go to scene one. Now, there are many different ways that you can do this when you start creating your scenes. I'm gonna tell you one of the easy ways of doing it. Say you want to make a profile, a camera profile scene, right? But you wanted it to be duplicated in all your other scenes. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the visuals first. We're going to go ahead and create a scene. But before we do that, let me tell you what these buttons R4 down at the bottom. Now you can use this minus and plus to create a different scene, or you could use the minus to delete the scene. So if you actually wanted to delete the scene, let's call this test 1. I created that scene. Now I'm in the scene. But if I didn't want that scene, I'll delete it. Says, you sure you want to delete test 1, right? All right, so it's deleted. Now I'm gonna just create a scene called cam. All right. Now, let's go back for a second. Let's go back into settings and let's go back into hotkeys. And you see, I just created cams, right? Let's go to hotkeys. You see cam right here? See? Now cam doesn't have a shortcut because I'm not going to use it for that particular reason. But it is in here in your shortcuts. So if I did want to make a shortcut, let's just do that real quick. I'll mark it as 6, press 6, press apply. Yeah, okay. So now if I go to 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and say if I press 6, now I'm on the cam. Now this is an easy way to put all of one big source or one big scene inside another scene. So if I want to make like a camera scene, what I'm gonna do is first I'm gonna find my camera. So once I'm in the camera scene, I go over here to sources. This is going to be everything that you're going to need to put in here. This is going to be like URLs, or if you don't know what that is, that's just look it up. A URL, like a website or something like that you want to put inside of your scene, or audio, or more pictures and things like that. So what we're just going to do is we're going to create a cam scene, right? So we're going to hit the plus sign, and now you got a whole bunch of different options. Now you got audio out input, you got audio input, you got Blackmagic device. Now when you get deeper into this and you want to spend some money for a profession, Blackmagic Design is where I go to get most of my products, like my ATEM switches, my professional cameras, and all these other stuff. Now Blackmagic, their stuff is not cheap, but their stuff is very high quality. This is what the professionals use. So when you go see Batman, you know what I'm saying, they may have shot that with a Blackmagic camera, or a red one. It probably wasn't a Blackmagic camera, but this is for your Blackmagic camera or your Blackmagic devices, whether it's an ATEM, a capture card, or whatever. But honestly, it doesn't work. I don't know why. So I never use it. So if I was doing a capturing card, I wouldn't go to Blackmagic device. I would go to capture card. So like when I put my ATEM in here, and the ATEM is it's all in one. It's a capturing device and it's a switcher. So I have the 2 4 ports and 1 8 port. So I can hook up 8 different HDMI devices, and I can plug it inside of my OBS, and it'll recognize it, and I can just use that as a switcher. But it really doesn't work for some reason. Okay, browser. Browser is that's if you wanted to put like your website in there, right? So if you click on browser and you type in youtube.com or facebook.com, that web page will come up there instead of your web page will come up there. So it'll be in real time. So whatever you do on that web page is what the people that's looking is going to see. Color source is just basically a block, a color block. It could be any color that you want, and I'm actually going to use that. Display capture is whether, if you want to capture your own screen, or if you have multiple screens hooked up to your computer, you can capture all those screens. Game capture. Now this is kind of tricky, and this, you don't want to use this. Say if I'm playing Call of Duty, right? If I have Call of Duty loaded up on my system, I can hit game capture. Game capture will see that Call of Duty is being played on my system, and then you would just put that information inside of game capture. Image, it's just what it said, that PlayStation and that Xbox thing that I did. Image slideshow, y'all know what that is. It just shows a series of photos. Media source. Now, if you want to put in like a video or, again, a photo, that's what the media source is for. Scenes, which is if I wanted to put in like test one, and I'll do that real quick. So, we're going to be doing that on the other one. So scenes is what I'm be using to put inside of another scene, so I won't have to keep trying to reduplicate that particular scene. I want that particular scene maybe in scene 1 or scene 2 or whatever. So that's what it is. Text, that is text. You write, Fred Watt or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's your text. Video caption device. This is a if you have a video capturing device in there, you catch a gameplay. If you have an Elgato game capturing card, or any type of game capturing card, or any type of caption card. I don't know why this thing keeps crashing. Oh, because I have updates that I have to do. That's why. And you don't want this done while you're streaming live. So that's what a video caption card is. And the reason why it keeps doing that, crashing, because I got to do these updates. And I don't want to do these updates while I'm streaming. And before you start streaming on anything, just make sure that your computer's up to date. That's just one of the flaws of dealing with Windows. If you do it on those new Macs, the M1 Macs, you won't have that problem. But you just got to keep your stuff up to date. So that's what a caption card is. Window capture. Again, it's the same thing as display capture. You can capture different windows. I think you can also put like URLs in there, and it'll take that. So if you want to put just like your website or something like that, you could do that. You could put it in window capture. Group, that's basically what it is. If you have a series of items and you want to put it in one group, you can do that. You can group it all together instead of having a string full of different caption cards, this picture, that, you know what I'm saying? If you want everything to pop up at the same time, you will want to put that in a group. But right now we're trying to find our camera. So what I would recommend to you, because this is probably going to crash again, but you want to use an external camera. So you can use like a Logitech USB camera or something like that. I found that using your camera that's on your PC kind of like it's really janky sometimes. So what you want to do is you go to video capture. Let's try to see if it's in here. Video capture device. And of course you want to label it whatever you want. So you can create a new one where you can label it, and I'm gonna do PC cam, and I don't think that it's in here. Okay. Or if you already have something that you want to add into your scene and you have already added it before, you would just click that button, and then you would just select the appropriate device that you want to use. So I'm gonna just use PC cam. And there I am. Now, when you use this, you really don't want to mess with too much stuff in here. If it's red, then it automatically configured it for you. So video format, it automatically configured it for you. So I'm cool with that. So see how it's all over the place? Now you can left click on your mouse and scale it the way that you want, or if you have a touchpad like me, you just drag it, and you could do it like that. Well, you say, Fred, I don't want all my shit showing in the background. Well, there's an easy fix for that. If you want to crop this, what you want to do, right click on it, and you want to go to properties. Oh, not properties. Right click on it, and you want to go to filters. Oh, this is one great thing. I'm glad I did this. You want to go to filters. Now, say if you're doing a green screen where you don't want anybody to see what's in your background, right? And you have like a green screen behind you, you can go to filters and you can crop that out. So if I didn't want y'all to see none of this stuff in the back, I would have my green screen up, or I got a green screen thing that I can put on my chair, and you won't see any of that. So what you do is, if you have a green screen, and a lot of y'all will use that, better yet, I can show you better than I can tell you. And what I'm going to do is, okay, let me not show this real quick. Let me turn off that camera. I'll be right back. You know, I keep it real with y'all, man. I'm in my drawers right now, so I'm not trying to have no show on YouTube. I'm back. Alright. So say if you got a green screen. Now, I got one of these. And I want to use a green screen on my background. That ain't gonna work. Okay. Let me turn the camera this way a little bit. Okay. So I want to use a green screen. Well, first we need to crop this. What's up with you, man? So, how do we crop this? Because I don't want everybody to see my background. So, this is how you do it. So, once you find your camera, what you want to do is you want to go to transform and edit transformation. I think that was it. Then you'll be presented with this box, right? So what you want to do is you want to crop the footage out, and I'll put this on the side. Okay. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to crop the left, right side, and the top. So let's start off with the top. And you can choose a random number to see if that works for you. So if you don't want to have to keep pressing the button, say like the top. Okay. Thanks for the love, man. So you want to, let's put 20. Oh, all right. You know what happened? When I pressed the number 2, I went to a different scene. So let's take these hotkeys off real quick. Go back into hotkeys. Let's delete that. Or let's delete that. And let's delete this one. So now when I press number 2, it won't jump to the daggone scene. Now, you see I pressed 20, right? So this is my scene. This is my camera. I hit 20, and now I took it back to 0. But if I hit 20, you see how it scaled down a little bit? So what you can do is, now you can just hit these arrow keys. You can take it up or down, and you can get it to a position where you feel comfortable with it. So I feel comfortable with that position. Now let's do the right. Right is a little bit more trickier. We're going to do 200, right? So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Because the only thing you're going to see is this, right? And let's do the right. The left. We will mark this as 200. Okay. You see what we're doing now? It's still going to be off because this isn't big enough. But y'all get where I'm going with this one. And because I'm gonna take this off. Now I'm gonna crop the bottom. Let's do 70. And then you can just play with it a little bit if it's not to your liking. Let's do 120 and see where we're at. Okay. That's not enough for me. So I'm gonna do 200. Okay. So now we're at 200. This is what you like. Okay. Now just imagine that my whole back screen is green keyed out. So we want to say, let's try to do this a little bit more. The left side. Let's do 300. Let's do 320, 340. All right. And we're going to change the right to 340 as well. Okay. So, that's a little bit better. We're going to go ahead and close that. We're going to go back to it, right click again, and we're going to hit filters. Now, you can have an audio filter, or you can have an effects filter. Now, the audio filter will it'll distort your voice or make it deeper or something like that. But we're going to deal with this green screen. So now we're going to add a filter, and then you want to hit chroma key color. I just use chroma key, and you want to title this green because that's what you're keying out. Okay, so then it's going to ask you the color type, because there's only really 2 colors that you'll be keying out. There's green and blue, right? So once you key out that specific color, you go up here, you tell it what color that you want it to do. Well, you got green, magenta, blue, and you got custom. Now, say if I got green and blue in my background, right? Um, Say I got a blue screen behind this green screen, I could take out both of those. And you see when I hold my arm up, you see that little line right there in my arm. Well, you can smooth that out. You see how my arm will be, the background will be disappear, but you see that little outline around my arm like I'm a cartoon. What you can do? No, that's not it. That's not it. Let's change the color. Well, just play with these settings until you get the one that you want. Close. Okay. Now, I'm supposed to have a clean green screen. So let me move this over here. And just to see if that background is transparent, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a photo. We're going to take one of these photos that we've downloaded and we're going to put it in here. Now, I disappeared. Why the hell did I disappear? Now, what I'm doing, if you hold down shift, I'm gonna show you what this photo will exactly do. You hold down shift, you take your left button or you double click on your touchpad and you scale it. You see how you scaling it? Now it's being all distorted. That's because I'm holding down the shift button. And if I want to hit it precise, now say if you downloaded a video or you downloaded a picture and it came out like this and you wanted to maximize your canvas, press shift, take the sides, and just make sure that it fits. But hey, I disappeared. Where the hell did I go? That's because it's layered. We're dealing with layers. Now, people that use Photoshop, you will know what I'm talking about when I say layers. This picture is over top of my PC layer, right? So what's going to happen is I'm not going to have to click on the picture, or I'm going to have to click on the cam and either move it up or move it down. But I'll just use the picture. And I want to put this under my cam. And now I'll go to my camera. And you see how I move my camera around? Now you see that PlayStation is right behind me. But then you also see the PlayStation coming through me because I don't have it actually, I don't have the filter correct. So when you go and you put your green screen filter on there, you're going to want to have to play with those settings to get it the way that you want it. But if we go back to the PC and we go back to filters, we're just going to remove this filter. Make sure you want to remove it. Yep. This thing is so hard to put back. I'll do it once I finish the stream. So that's closed. And see, now you see my background again because I took that filter off. Let's take this picture off. So what I do is I create a border around my videos. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an outline border. So what we're going to do is go back into plus. We're going to go to color. source. And we're going to call this red because that's the color that we're going to be using. Now, you'll be presented with this box. And now that whole box just turned this color that you see right there. You want to select the color. Now you can take this arrow and you can move it to any position that you want to just by clicking on it. But I'm using red. Okay. And the height and the width, again, your canvas is 1980 by 1080. So I'm just keeping it the size of the canvas. Or you can manipulate this as much as you want. But if you're doing a solid color, you don't have to worry about distorting it at all. It's just gonna be that size, right? So click OK. And now what we got to do is we want to put this behind our camera. Okay, again, you see how it's overtaking our camera? That's because it's layered on top of the camera. So what we want to do is we're going to make sure that this is highlighted, and then we're just going to move that down, and that brings that behind that camera. All right, so we want to get this kind of even as we can, but you can put it anywhere. You can have it like all the way over here, and see how that's not really centromected or, you know, lined right. So this is what you would want to do. Hold down Shift again. Want to take these corners and then just adjust them to the length that you like. Right? Yeah, I'm holding down Shift and I'm adjusting these corners. Boom. I'm happy with that. Now, this is all I have. That's all I have. And you could play around with these shapes and stuff like that. You could do more than what I'm doing right now with these shapes, but we're just sticking to just this right now. Okay, so let's see, do I have anything in here as far as the game and show pictures? Let me go ahead and delete that. So my camera scene is created. I was just going to put a picture there. So my camera scene is created, right? So now we're going to want to go back to one of our scenes, right? Now this is the welcome screen, and this is the, hey, welcome to the game show, this, that, and the other, the backdrop. But say I want to put this camera in this scene, particular scene, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the plus icon. I'm going to go to scenes. Now these are the three scenes that I created. The cam scene, the scene, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I guess that this is a scene as well. Okay, so I didn't change the name of it. So I'm going to just go ahead and delete that, because this is what you're going to be presented with when you first start, right? You're going to have scene. So I'm going to just go ahead and delete that because I don't need that. I made my own. All right. So once I go into, I'm in scene and I'm at sources. Now, sources is what you want to put in here, whether it's pictures or whatever. So I'm gonna add this scene that I just created called cam, and see add existing scene, or I can create another one, or you know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna hit cam and watch what happens. Now the cam comes in here. Now I'm here. Now I can move this all around where I want to. I can scale it down without pressing shift. And it could be wherever I want it. I may want to put it here. I want to put it here. I may want to put it down here. Okay, boom. Now, I'll just go ahead and lock it. Now, what if I go to my other scene and I want to put that same camera in here, but at a different place? Well, instead of doing all that, creating a camera, finding a camera, and then doing the back color for it, you don't have to do that. What you do is you go over here to sources, you hit the plus sign, and then you go to scenes again, and you just choose that same camera scene. Okay. Boom. All right. So again, I'm here. I'm here. I can be here, and I can scale it any way that I want to, but I'm going to delete this. Right. I'm going to delete this camera. Remove. But I'm going to keep this one up. Now, if you notice, if you go to the audio mixer, which is right here, you don't see any audio. You don't see no levels, nothing. That means if I stream this out to the world, the only thing y'all going to be able to do is hear me. You're not going to be, see me. You're not going to be able to hear me. So to fix that problem, we don't have to bother with this scene right here, because any changes that we make to this scene will affect anything that scene is in, right? So you see we have cam, but we don't have any type of audio going, because you will see the meters right here. So let's go back into cam. Since this is my video source, I also want to make this my audio source, because when I start switching the camera somewhere else, I want the video and I want the audio to go with it. So what we're going to have to do, and it doesn't matter where this is layered at, because this is not a file or picture or anything like that. It's just audio. So what you want to do is you want to hit the plus sign, and you want to go to audio output. Now, if I go, there's a big difference between input and output. Input is what I can only hear. Output is what I'm letting y'all be able to hear, right? I don't know why it's like that. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Input, because that has the microphone icon. I get confused on this one too. So, this is what you all hear, and this is what I hear. So, and it's easy to do. The output audio source, this could be going to speakers. So say if you're doing a live TV show, right, and you have an audience sitting in the green room, where you can route that audio to go back to that green room, to that particular speaker, so they'll be able to hear it as well. It's kind of dumb, because if they're watching the live feed, they'll be able to hear it as well. So this is kind of a tricky situation. I never use this output capture device. Yeah, I do. Like if I need to hear in the earphones, then that's what the audio output would be. This would be my headphones, because I need to hear what's being said. So let's go to input. Now we need to find our mic, and we'll just label it as mic. Now, once you click yes or okay, it's going to go to default. Now, I don't know actually what the default is, But let's do this just in case. We're gonna click OK. 2. Now, if you only have one mic hooked up, then it's gonna go to whatever that mic source is, and you can see that I have audio now. You don't want it to peak. So see how it's going in the red? You don't want the volume all the way up. So what you want to do is you want to take it down, and you want to speak at your loudest to see if it peaks. If it doesn't peak, then you're good. This is how loud you're going to be speaking. But if you have like a whole bunch of people, it may get a little louder, or it may start peaking as well. So now you see I have that audio on there. Now, you're not out of the woods yet, because you'll see the metering. But if you have earphones attached to your source, you're not going to be able to hear you. I'm like, well, I see the meters, but I can't hear myself. Well, this is how you fix that. You go to this gear box right here. Click on that, and you want to go to Advanced Audio Properties. Click on Advanced Audio Properties, and now we see we have two audio properties. We have the PC Cam audio property, where there's no volume coming in here at all. You have the mic, which you have the volume coming in, and this stuff you just want to keep as is. The volume, quality, just don't check that mark. And mono, you don't want to check that, because mono is only coming out of one speaker, so you want it to come out the left and right. So just leave that as it is. Leave that in the middle. But this is what you need to do. You see how you come over here and it says audio monitoring, and it says monitoring off. That means you can't hear it. What you want to do is you want to go down to this drop box, and you want to hit monitor and output. Now, you want to, when you're monitoring it, you're looking at that meter below. So you see that meter. Now, if you click on that one, 2. Now, do you see? I'm getting an echo right now. 2. Now, if you hear that, that's coming from the speakers on my laptop. You hear that echo? Now I can see it, and now I can monitor it. But if you put your headphones in, you won't be able to hear it out there. So I'm going to just go ahead and mute this, because I'll probably use this later on down the line. So, and we'll go back into mic properties. Now, we didn't do this because I just wanted to test this out to see if it'll work, but it did. So the default is the only mic input that's in there. But if you go down to the drop down box, you'll see other stuff. You see a line in, which I can plug a microphone, a 3mm microphone in, headset microphone, and that's Oculus virtual audio device, or microphone Airy AMD audio device. And I think that's what I'm using, the AMD audio device. But if you have a microphone plugged in, like say you have the Blue Yeti, you would see Yeti or something in there, and you would use that. So we're going to cancel out of here because we don't want to make any changes. And you see I still have my audio, right? And you see how it's muted here. Well, let's go back over to the scene where I put that thing in there. Now you see it's still muted, but I see the meters now, because remember we put this in scene 1, 2, 3, 4. We put the camera in here. Now you can not only see me, you can also hear me. So if I unclick this, now if I had some earphones plugged into my laptop, you wouldn't be hearing that echo. So now that you have your audio device working and you have your visuals, now you can stream to your heart content, right? So say if you wanted to have a capturing card in here. Well, I don't have any available capturing cards because the one capturing card that I am using, I got off of Amazon. I got it plugged into here so y'all can see my computer screen. But if you just plug it up and you go to capturing device, you could take whatever that capturing device is displaying. So if I click plus and I want to do a capturing device, what I would do is hit capturing device, right? Okay. And I'll make this like test. And it's create new. Now, I can go down to all of these. It'll show you which one you can use. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have any capturing devices hooked up to this thing, so it's not showing it. So if I did want to use a capturing device, I would use that. If I wanted two video sources, you see I can do that as well too. But let's take this off. Now, say you want to add your desktop to this, right? So you would click the plus sign, and we're going to go to window capture, I believe it is. Window capture, and I'm gonna label this desktop. Click OK. Now it's asking me for what window I want to display. So let's click down window, and I'm not sure that this is it. No, it's not. So let's delete that, and let's add the desktop. Window capture, display capture. Okay, display capture. Let's just keep it at that. Now, this is automatic. Yeah, because this is capturing my desktop. And see again how it just took over that layer. So what you want to do is you want to bring this down till you get to that part. And what you want to do is you want to scale it down to the size that you want it now. Just like this. Now you can have your desktop right here, and you can have your background here, and then you can do the same thing I did for that little border, and you can put that here, or you can make it a different scene and import it just like I did with the camera, right? So let's do that. I'm gonna show you one more time. So let's so if I wanted to do just a desktop, I will create a desktop scene. I'm gonna call it desktop. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do inside of the source of the desktop, what I'm gonna do is display capture, and it's automatically going to go to my desktop. Now once you start hooking up devices to your OBS, it's not going to be this easy. You're going to have to go and search for it, but it's going to be a drop down box, and it'll show you all your stuff. Now you see how this is my desktop, and it's just a repeating of what you're seeing right now. So if I go back to my other source and I say, hey, I want to put my desktop in here, and you did all this funky stuff, you created all this other stuff, I'm like, okay, fine. I don't want to have to duplicate that just in case I want to put it in another scene. So what you want to do is press the plus button, and you want to add the scene. Now you see I have desktop on here. Click on that, and it's add existing. It's not going to give you this because you can't create another scene like that. Press OK. And again, it overpowered my canvas. That's because it's layered all the way at the top. So what I can do is I can bring it down in between the camera and the JPEG, which is this. Now, if I bring it all the way down, then this JPEG has just overpowered that scene. So I'm going to put it up, and it's going to be in between the cam and the JPEG. And what I can do is left click on it and scale it down as I need, and that could be right there. That could be right there. And then I'll go ahead and lock it. Now, if I want to go back to my cam, I'll go ahead and unlock it. And now I can resize it so you can see me a little bit more clear. And I just see that it froze. That's probably because I tried to put another camera in here. That's why I said don't use the camera that's on your laptop. So let's go back and see why it's doing that. Now, I'm glad I ran into this problem, because you might run into this. So you see how it just froze up, right? So we're going to go back into PC Cam, and we're going to go into properties. The easiest way to fix that is just switch to another device, or you could exit out and then come back in. And let's go back to our other scene. See, now I'm not froze. See, I'm not froze now. And I think that happened when I tried to add a caption card, basically, and it saw, so that's what happened. So that's pretty much it of the OBS. Okay. Let's do one more thing. So say if I wanted to add like a web browser, a web source, right? So I will go to web browser, open that up, and let's call this YouTube. Now, and this is how you do it. Now, say if you wanted your chats and stuff like that to display up here. Well, like especially if you use Streamlabs, with Streamlabs does the same thing as Restream, where it takes all your social media networks, especially like Twitch, and you put the URL, you copy and paste that URL here, and say if you have a green, you have the chats flowing, and then you have a green screen background, you would do the same thing. You will put a filter on this and put a chroma key green filter on it. But let's just say you wanted to put an internet page on here, a web page on here. You can simply just type in and you see how that YouTube page is on here, and you see it's not really, it's really distorted, right? So let's go back in here to the properties, 800 by 600. You just have to play with these settings. Now, if you're already signed into YouTube, this is going to put up your page, right? So let's do this. Let me go to YouTube. Now I'm already signed in. let's see if this works. I'm gonna go to my channel. I'm gonna copy this URL. I'm gonna go back in here. Go to properties. I'm gonna paste that URL here. And see now, that's the Gamer Show's. It's showing our homepage. So that's basically what you do with that. Now, you see how you can see me moving my screen and all that other stuff? Well, if you had another monitor hooked up to your computer, what you can do is you can take this screen and you can move it over to your next monitor. That way you won't see all of this. This is if you're playing games on your PC, which I don't recommend, and streaming off the same PC at the same time. But if you want to show something on your desktop, like you're doing tutorials like I'm doing, it would benefit you to have another screen. Now, on the PC that I'm using to stream, I have 3 screens. So I can go to any one of my screens and broadcast that, and you won't have to see this OBS screen on here. So that's pretty much it, man. Those are the basics of OBS, and I hope that you all are hold up. Now I'm gonna have to do something here real quick. Hold on. Okay, I was just making sure that it was going to work before I did it. All right. So that's pretty much it for the training on OBS. I hope that this tutorial was very useful to you. Yeah, I like teaching people how to use this software, because when I first started, again, no one would help me do my streams. No one, I contacted a lot of these big YouTuber personalities, and even some of the low YouTuber personalities, and I would always compliment them on their stream, but I would never get a reply back on, like, what are you using to stream out to the internet? What software was that? What's this, that, and the third? And nobody would reach out to me. So I said, if I ever got a following on YouTube, that I would, teach y'all, YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, I would teach you all how to use this software or anything that I've learned how to do. I give it as free knowledge. But if this has helped you in any way, wouldn't mind y'all donating some coins to the Gamer Show. It's not a necessity. It's just in case you feel like doing it. You can use our Cash app at $ the Gamer Show, and that's $THAGAMERS. And that's our Cash app. If you want to donate, $1 or $2, $3, you can help us out by doing that. That will make us be able to do more shows like this, more tutorials, and other shows. It just help Mike and myself out a lot. So if you want to donate to the Gamer Show, feel free to by using our Cash app, as I said. And all the links are below, so if you want to do that. But thank you all for watching this episode. And this was just on OBS. Now, if there is any other software that you need some help on that I personally use, I don't mind giving it to you. Now, this was OBS and Restream. I had to throw Restream in there a little bit. Just remember, if you're going to use OBS, you're going to have to use a stream key to broadcast out to the world. Instead of you trying to find out your stream key, how to do that, because it is a pain in the behind to get these stream keys on your platforms. The easiest way to do it is to just link up your accounts through Restream. And even if you started streaming today and you don't have enough subscribers on YouTube, you just turn that portion of it off. You can always stream on Twitch TV and on Facebook. You don't have to have a minimum subscribers in order to do that. But if you use that Restream program, then you'll be able to use that stream key, just that one stream key, put it inside OBS, and you won't have any problems. You know what I'm saying? So that's about it. Again, y'all go check out Spliff City, and y'all go check out KastAway, and don't forget about the It's Over Prime. I'm just waiting for one transformer to get in here, and that's going to set this thing off, man. Y'all going to like some of these toys I collected, man. I went all the way back to the 80s. Some of these toys that I always wanted and never could afford to get or never got. Man, I got a lot of them in here, and the ones that I did display, I said I was going to give away Gran Turismo, but nobody participated in that. Man, that's cool. But that's cool. So wow, man. I thank you all for watching, and we will see you a little bit later on this evening as Mike and I will do a live broadcast of the Gamer Show. I think we may be reviewing the game. I don't know if we're doing Batman today, but I was able to see that last night. So I don't know which one we're doing today, but stay tuned a little bit later on this evening, and we'll be back. So hope y'all appreciate it. Hope I gave y'all some knowledge that y'all can use, and see you soon. See you in a couple hours.